Hello friends, I am Arpit and I'm here with today's analysis. Today is 16th of August and we're going to discuss one very important topic which is in news, and that is the Prime Minister's Independence Day speech. This speech has been known for its record. The record is it is the lengthiest by Mr. Narendra Modi and the lengthiest by any Prime Minister in the history of India. In his speech, the Prime Minister has talked about multiple things which are very, very important for us aspirants. He has talked about environment conservation, he has talked about women's safety, he has also talked about internal and external threats, he has talked about increasing focus on research and development, on military Atmanirbharta, or enhancing defense capabilities. He has also talked about economic growth being there by 2047. And he has also talked about women's safety in this tough times which the country is facing, and there are many questions being faced with respect to women's safety. All over the internet, there are, lot of, I would say, posts circulating around. Some posts I saw were wishing happy Independence Day to the men of India and only men of India, like this. So some posts were raising questions that how independent we are, what independence we have, and this was all amidst the Kolkata rape case. Things are underway, but let's see what happens. Let's get started with, you know, the speech. Key facts about this speech. It is basically the longest speech in the history by any prime minister and by him also. Interestingly, the previous record also was held by him. This speech was of 98 minutes and previous record was of 96 minutes. 2 minutes more than that was the speech. That was in 2016, and 2016 Mr. Modi was only the Prime Minister. Average duration of Modi's speech was, is 82 minutes, the longest among any Indian Prime Minister. His shortest speech was delivered in 2017, lasting around 56 minutes. So, this is, or these are some key facts about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech. Now, the shortest speeches in the history of India by all the Prime Ministers I'm considering over here. Jawaharlal Nehru, 1954, 14 minutes only. Indira Gandhi, 1966, 14 minutes only. Atal Bihari Vajpayee 2002, 25 minutes. Atal Bihari Vajpayee 2003, 30 minutes. Manmohan Singh 2012, 32 minutes. Manmohan Singh 2013, 35 minutes. So these have been the duration, and the shortest being 14 minutes by Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi. Now, key highlights of the speech delivered by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has been talking about ease of living, and this ease of living is for the citizens. What is ease of living? Ease of living is that you get delivery of the services from the government at, you know, with minimal efforts. You have a decent standard of living. Means you have a job, or you are working somewhere, or you have a business. So that environment has to be created by the government. You are safe. That all will come in ease of living. It is a very broad concept. And this government has been working for that, especially when we talk about digital delivery of services, that is e-governance. Now, ease of living mission, PM Modi outlined his vision to fulfill ease of living on a mission mode. He spoke of enhancing the quality of life in urban areas through systematic assessments and improvements in infrastructure and services. Obviously, a lot of deaths in the urban areas, especially those three students or three aspirants preparing for civil services in Delhi due to negligence of the urban authorities. That is definitely not ease of living over there. So he's been talking about it since long, and now things like these or episodes like this happen, though things get accentuated. Revival of Nalanda spirit. Now, Nalanda University has been inaugurated. Now, what was Nalanda spirit? Nalanda was one of the most, I would say, prestigious universities of the past. I think it was the world's best or world's most renowned university of that era, where people or scholars from all across the world used to come here and study. From there, the Prime Minister has coined this term, the Nalanda spirit, where the Prime Minister is keen on inviting students from all across the world to India to study and make India an educational hub. But sadly, you know, very few of our universities are there in top 200. But we have to inculcate this spirit of being the global leader in education, because we had in the past universities like Nalanda, which were systematically, I would say, destroyed. So that is called as the Nalanda spirit. And one more element is there in the Nalanda spirit, basically, that is promoting higher learning and research, which was quite common in the Nalanda University of that time. And we definitely need to focus upon research if we want to become Atmanirbhar. Sadly, our expenditure on research is too less. That needs to be taken care of. Made in India chips semiconductor production. Now, semiconductor is one of those items which is known as a critical item for the present day scenario and the future also, because mostly all of the electronics are working upon semiconductor chips. Sadly, for semiconductors, we were dependent upon China. But now that's no longer the story, because we have been collaborating with countries like Japan and with regions like Taiwan for semiconductor chip manufacturing here in India. In Assam, Tata is bringing up a factory of semiconductor chip manufacturing. In Gujarat, Foxconn is bringing up. Likewise, things are happening. And we want to be a global leader in this also, that we want to make chips here in India. Obviously, cheap labor is there, that is to our advantage, and we will be exporting those chips to the world and obviously using them for our domestic purposes as well. So that needs to take care. And yes, we need to go into these, or we need to foray into these kind of new age technologies, which are very much important, which will reduce our dependency also. Then next is hub for industrial manufacturing. Industrial manufacturing is something which is obviously part of the secondary sector, and this has largely been ignored since the LPG reforms. The primary, secondary, tertiary, our shift was from primary to tertiary, which led to growth, no doubt about this fact, because tertiary sector's potential for value generation is the highest. But it did not generate that much jobs. That is why it is known as jobless growth. The highest job generating capacity, if any of these sectors, that is primary, secondary sector or tertiary sector is there, it is among the secondary sector. And that is why we need to focus upon this hub of industrial manufacturing. We have to become the world, and we have to, position ourselves at par, and in fact better than China, because presently China is the industrial hub of the world. And due to being the industrial hub of the world, China has accumulated a lot of wealth, which China has been using or misusing nowadays. But that wealth definitely has contributed in the projection of China as a strong country, as a global superpower. He also went on to say that I want India to become developed, and I also want to send a message to the global leaders that due to our development, due to our rise, nobody is going to have problems. Nobody means nobody. Because with rise of the countries, no, those countries have caused problems for the world. We have seen it in the past. I'm not going to name the countries over here, but yes, he clearly highlighted that we are not going to create problems for anyone in the world due to our rise, because this is not in our sanskars, this is not in our ethos. Our positioning or our culture has been such that it does not allow us to do or to take undue advantage of such things. And that is where, we stand apart from others. So that thing we need to understand, you know, and definitely we can use these things in our answers as well. Design in India, design for the world. The Prime Minister exalted indigenous design capabilities and urged to create products that cater to both domestic and international markets, coining this phrase. Designing is largely entails research and development also, and a step after that also. When research and development is done, you design the product and then you put it for manufacturing. So basically, the Prime Minister is wanting from research and development to design to manufacturing. All these things should be done in India and do it not only for India but for the world as well. That is what he wants to highlight. He also talked about being a leader in global gaming market. Now, Indians, as per records, are one of the highest gamers in the world when it comes to numbers. So he has acknowledged that fact that, gaming industry is booming, it is growing, and more Indians are participating in the gaming industry. But he also urged Indians to develop those games and make those games world class. And obviously, if games that will be developed by India or by Indians, they will have Indian elements in that, and that can help to spread the Indian culture in the minds of the gamers worldwide. Definitely, that has an impact. So, that is why, or that is one such route which has been identified by the Prime Minister to spread the culture of the country. And you can spread some good messages also through those games to the entire world that what India is. Green jobs and green hydrogen mission. He has been talking about the Paris climate goals and he clearly highlighted that among the G20 countries, G20 are those countries which are world's 20 largest economies. India is the only country which has met the Paris climate goals, means the INDCs which had to be submitted in Paris in 2015. The target year of meeting those goals was 2030, but India did it in 2021-22 only. He further went on to say that installing 500 gigawatts of non-renewable energy sources definitely will contribute in conserving the environment and creating this place as a better place for the future generations to survive. This is a gift which we will be leaving for our future generations. And he also went on to say that conservation of environment will happen, but apart from it, a lot of jobs will also be generated in this domain, and these jobs he referred to as the green jobs. He also called for the green hydrogen mission. Green hydrogen mission is basically the fuel for the future, and India aims to become the global hub of green hydrogen, and this is there outlined in the National Green Hydrogen Mission. So, this is how things are. Skill India. Referring to the budget 2024, the Prime Minister highlighted landmark initiatives announced by the government to train India's youth and become the skill capital of the world because, skill is one such thing which is very much needed to uplift you out of poverty. You might not be educated, but if you are skilled, you will be able to earn for yourself and you will be able to earn decent for yourself and your family. The Skill India mission aims to bring skills in the hands of the people. Coverage needs to be extended more and more number of skills need to be added in this program was his highlight. We want to make India as the global skill hub of the world means if people in the world across the world ask ki bhai where are skillful people where can we find people who can do this job, so the first choice should be or the first answer should be India. But yes, we need to be skillful. The best part is that in numbers, we are more. In numbers, we are more means we have the world's largest or the highest population in the working age. India is going through that phase. And if we skill this highest amount of people who are in the working age, the demand for Indians, not only in India, but in the world will increase. And these skillful people will be contributing not only in the economy of India, but the economy of the entire world. Because skillful people definitely have the potential of generating more. So, this is how it is. Then Swasth Bharat mission. So, he has been talking about this mission. He said that if we have to be there by 2047, we have to be Swasth. Swasth means access to healthcare should be there. Then that healthcare access should be affordable. It should be accessible. Availability of nutrition should be there. Proper vaccination programs should be there. Coverage should be there. So this is how things should be there as per the Prime Minister. And that is what is part of Swasth Bharat mission, because a healthy country can only be a developed country. Without, a healthy country, you know, being developed country is pointless. We will not be able to become as well. Then state level investment competition. There should be this state level investment competition. Prime Minister called for state governments to establish clear policies to attract investments, offer assurances of good governance, and ensure confidence in the law and order situation. And this here, he highlighted about the rape case which happened in Kolkata as well. He said that speedy justice and this message to the, I would say, who are doing these kind of crimes should be that the state is going to be tough on you. So that should be taken care of. Indian standards as global benchmarks. PM Modi spoke on India's aspirations to be recognized for its commitment to quality, stating that India and standards should aspire to become international benchmarks. Now, Indian standard setting, like for example, we last year launched this Bharat, I would say, uh, car safety standards. I think it was called as NCAP or something like that. It was called as whatever it was, but it was car safety assessment standards. Those standards we were following on the Western countries till now, but now we have developed our own standards. Okay. Now we want the world to follow our standards. If our standards are so good, the world will follow. As simple as that. So we want to make standards such that they are global standards, and we want to meet them in our country. We want to lead by example. If we are meeting those standards, we are definitely improving the quality of those products for which those standards are meant. So we should be approaching in this way as well. Climate change targets. He said that 500 gigawatts renewable energy we will be creating, and this is definitely going to contribute to environment conservation. It will also generate jobs. It will create a better place to live in for our future generations. He also noted that India is the only country in the G20 countries who has achieved this. All these facts I've told you before. Then medical education expansion. He also talked about adding 75,000 new medical seats in the next 5 years. But I just hope and pray that all these additions, safety of women is maintained. That necessary adequate infrastructure should be there so that, women when they go to rest, they don't get raped. And everything, is linked to that rape case in Kolkata, and you guys might be knowing that in detail. Then inducting fresh blood in politics. So he urged, basically, he gave a call to bring 1 lakh youth into the political system, specifically those with no history of politics in their family. He wants to target nepotism by doing so. So he said this initiative was aimed at fighting the evils of nepotism and casteism and inducting fresh blood in India's polity, and that is definitely needed because the talented they're left out, and the nepotism prevails, and this is quite common in the Indian political system as well. Atmanirbharta in defense. We want to become Atmanirbhar in defense. Sadly, we are the world's largest, or the biggest defense importing country. We want to remove that tag. We want to become Atmanirbhar, and we want to export arms to the world. However, we have started doing that. Defense production. India's annual defense production reached a record 1.27 lakh crore in FY 2023-24. Defense exports also hit a record of rupees 21,083 crore, 32.5% increase from the previous year. So defense exports are also increasing year by year. Defense production is also increasing year by year. But sadly, defense imports are also increasing year by year. That increase in the defense imports should be tackled. You might be wondering, sir, everything is increasing over here. Yes, because the demand for these kind of products is increasing due to the hostile, I would say, nature of our neighbors, or the increasing internal security problems. So we are needing these kind of weapons. Strength against terrorism. PM Modi recalled 2016 surgical strike and 2019 airstrike, noting India's transformation from a terror victim to a bold country which can respond to such kind of situations. I was wondering, is he hinting at another attack of this nature in Pakistan? Because the terror activities are too high these days in the Jammu and Kashmir region. So let's see what happens. Next is role of women. He highlighted increasing leadership roles for women. He specifically emphasized about Nari Shakti and he has been doing it since 2022. He said that without bringing along the Nari Shakti with us, we cannot be there by 2047. We cannot be there. Almost half of the population is Naris after all. So, this role of women was highlighted this year as well. He also talked about one nation, one election. He said that this is required since everything is being linked to elections these days. What he meant to say was some scheme is released and then there are some elections in some state or I would say the other. Some elections mean state level elections or panchayat level elections and then people over there in those elections start linking those schemes to elections. Ki acha, for this purpose only government might have launched. Elections also incur a lot of expenditure, a lot of time is diverted. And when the time is diverted for those elections, because these Netadis definitely they'll have to fight elections, they'll have to contest elections, and they'll have to campaign for that. If they don't, they will not be in power. And when they will not be in power, they'll be able to do nothing. And for campaigning and all, they get diverted from their work. Like, for example, the Prime Minister is there working. Elections in some state, he has to go for a rally, gets diverted, then starts working. After some time, election in another state, he has to go. So this diversion also happens a lot. And I'm talking about the Prime Minister, but the local level administration is also diverted for conducting elections because there's a proper model code of conduct which is there into place. So he said that we've been talking to multiple constitutional experts. A committee under Ramnath Kovind was also formed for this, and that committee high level panel that was, or a high level committee that was, that has submitted its report. Let's see how we can go ahead with this. And finally, he also talked about a uniform civil code. He said that we have been living under a communal civil code since then, since independence, which has increased the divide, which has increased the rifts between different communities. He also highlighted the judiciary's role over here, which is pressurizing the government to adopt a uniform civil code since long. The BJP in its manifesto also has mentioned multiple times that they will be bringing the uniform civil code. Is it the big thing in Modi 3.0 Uniform Civil Code? Well, it should be. And one good thing I liked about the speech when he was talking about Uniform Civil Code was that he said that I want ki we discuss on this. There should be public debate on this Uniform Civil Code, and there should be debate about it in the parliament as well, so that we adopt or we are able to adopt a secular civil code. This is a very good sign of a vibrant democracy where things are being open for discussions. This definitely is not a sign of dictatorship. But let's see, you know, if the BJP government or the NDA government presently, brings out this, how much discussions and debates happen on that. But those discussions and debates are very much needed, first of all, and second of all, that uniform civil code is also needed. He had been talking about 2047. He said that 24/7 by 2047 we will be there if we work 24/7. Working 24/7 practically, is not possible. Don't be too literal over here. But yes, we need to work very hard to be there by 2047. That dream of becoming a developed country is still alive. We are there into the third year in the Amrit Kal. We are entering the third year we have entered the third year in Amrit Kal because that was announced in 2022. And we need to take optimum advantages over here in this Amrit Kal. So 2047 definitely should be approachable. But we need to work in multiple domains simultaneously. We need to work in multiple domains aggressively, simultaneously. We need to work in multiple domains aggressively, simultaneously, and sustainably. That is the mantra to be there. So, with this, we have come to an end of today's session. No MCQs on this speech. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing. Try to watch the complete speech as it was by the Prime Minister. It's available on YouTube. If not, then this information should suffice. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Namaste. Jai.